Hello, everyone. It is November 7th, 2025, and an extremely important anniversary today. As you can see, it is Diary of Madman, 44 years. It's also my wedding anniversary. Hi, honey. Happy anniversary. Yay. Okay. Back to the important one, which is, this. This. Wow. This album, Diary of Madman, is a perfect album. So here's the ranking. All of them are a five. Every single song is a five. The album's a five. I rank one to five. It's a perfect album. Nothing on here is not a five. The only reason I always slightly put Blizzard above it is because, at least for me, I get the feeling of that album. Like that new band, that there's just something to me special about Blizzard. In initial hearing, I liked this one better. I got this for my birthday when I think I turned 13 years old, and I remember putting Over the Mountain on and being absolutely blown away and it not stopping. I was blown away by the entire album. At different points in time, different songs have been my favorite. I think Tonight has kind of stayed solid as my favorite song off this album. Little Dolls at one point was. Over the Mountain at one point was. You Can't Kill Rock and Roll at one point was. Flying High Again at one point was. Diary of Man. I mean, really, it's just an absolute perfect album. Believer, yeah, SATO, every single song in this album is perfect. I know Randy did not like the production of this, and it was rushed. Thank God, the only thing Sharon ever did that was right. I got a different version. The only thing Sharon ever did that was right was to push the original Blizzard of Oz band, because that's what this is. It's a band album, back into the studio, so she'd have an album in the reserve. Thank God she did. But yeah, I Blizzard is just a little bit. Also, Don Airey's on Blizzard. I love Don Airey. Not that Johnny Cook didn't do a great job on this. He did. It sounds fantastic. But Blizzard, there's just a little bit for. It's not even musically, because I think they're both perfect albums. It's just something about Blizzard, man. There's just a feeling I get with Blizzard. So again, I mean, there's no way. No knocking any of that. What am I looking at? Those are those. Gotcha. Um, but in my opinion, the second best album ever recorded. I love Black Sabbath better than anything Black Sabbath did. Maiden better than anything Maiden did. Better than anything anyone else ever did. Blizzard and Diary are the two best albums ever. Randy is insane on these albums. Oh, and here's something, we've all thought about, but Bob's the surviving member. Okay, I consider Don Airey a part of the Blizzard of Oz band for the first album, but if you want to be consistent, Bob's Last Man Standing. That's really weird. Very interesting twist of fate in that. But okay, let me show the versions I got. Showing if you saw that video where when Ozzy passed, I showed almost all of my Ozzy stuff. I know I missed a couple of things, but I have the original CD as well, one that was released. And then this is the Legacy one, but this is Bob and Lee on it. That infuriated Sharon. I do not have that. I do not. I don't think this is it. That was 2011. This is. This is. Oh shoot! This is no. This is right. Oh, I do. This is that then. I didn't think I had those. This is the Abomination. This is the Abomination that took Bob and Lee off. Executive producer Sharon. Oh yeah, that makes me sick. Yeah, because wasn't that the 2011 was the God, where's it on here? I thought, and then when they redid it, Or is it 2002? That's what it. 2002 is the one where yeah, that's it. All right, this is. Hang on, I gotta pause. This is gonna drive me nuts now. I'm back. Not that you noticed. Yeah, 2002 was the one where the abomination. So I don't have that. I have it digitally, just kind of just to have. But man, I can't. I no, I can't have that. Not in this house. Not in this house. Not in this house. Picture disc. Got this one. And then now this is my Holy Grail diary. This is the original from Great Britain. I have, you notice I have this little. This is morbid, guys, but I guess if you're a parent, you understand this. So I bought these little stickers, okay, and I did this so when I drop dead, my kids, because I did this with my dad. I had no idea. He was not a music guy. He had stuff from his father. Now nothing was in sleeves. They were just all albums in a thing. I may have thrown away a $5,000 album for all I knew. So I kind of went through my record collection and put these stickers on there and then other things that I have. So when I drop dead, the girls know, hey, don't throw this away. It's actually worth money. But this is from the UK. The original pressing, and I remember having here's the famous insert with the wrong band that Sharon pulled that BS. But sorry, guys. Now you want to see me blowing into an album. But, yeah, this is... I wanted to have as many originals from the UK as possible of Ozzy. Don't know why. Obviously he's a British artist, so... and it kind of started with the Blizzard of Oz album, because on that one that I have, on the actual album, Blizzard of Oz is the same font size as... Ozzy Osbourne. So it looks like a band. They changed it, but it looks like a band. But I mean, this. Oh my god, this album. So, I'm just gonna talk about these songs because again, they're all perfect fives. Over the Mountain, Lee. I mean, Randy. Everyone talks Randy, and yes, Randy is a god. Lee in Over the Mountain. That intro is one of the best drum intros of all time. Absolutely. And the song is just phenomenal. Flying High Again. It's a jam. Should have been a much higher. You go back and you listen to these songs and they were singles and they did well, but man, they should have climbed higher. Flying High Again is a classic. You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. The sad thing is, it's a deep track, regretfully. And for people who are not big Ozzy fans, probably don't know that song as well as they should. And I've had a bunch of friends who have listened to that song with me. And they're just like, what is this song? It's unbelievable. Believer, this, what do you say? I'm a believer. I ain't no deceiver. And again, Bob's lyrics are just insane. Little Dolls, once again, Lee, man. Lee stands out. He really... And I know that even with Lee in the band, and he had proven himself, Ozzy still kind of always wanted Tommy Aldridge. And there's nothing against Tommy. Tommy's a great drummer. Lee kicks ass compared to Tommy, though. Tonight is just unbelievable. Randy's solo on Tonight, and it is so haunting, and Ozzy's vocals are so good on that song that I don't know if I don't think it was ever a single. I don't know why. Somebody dropped the ball. Tonight should have been and I don't think it was ever played live. SATO, in the course, everything is her. Every ship adrift on the ocean or something like that, and it really is Sharon Arden, Thelma Osborne. And then Bob says in his book it's actually Sharon and her boyfriend's name at the time, which I don't remember, and then Thelma and Ozzy. So it's really really weird, but it was Bob's way of saying, hey, Ozzy, we know you're having an affair with Sharon. You need to get your house together. And then the unbelievably haunting, perfect Diary of a Madman. And this is where Johnny Cook sounds phenomenal. I mean, he did a great job on this. Randy again. The whole band sounds great. And then Bob on Believer, Bob's bass line on Believer. I mean, they were so, and how Randy didn't like the mix of this album. My God. This is, it's an album I couldn't even tell you how many times I've listened to this album in my life. It's incomprehensible. That's not true. I'm sure somebody could count it out. But, kills me that Bob's name was taken off or not put in as a producer, because Bob had as much input as Randy. And this album, let's be honest, the album was produced by Max Norman, Randy, and Bob. Ozzy, probably Lee had a little bit more input too, but and yeah, I'm not knocking Ozzy as far as he put melody on these songs, which I'm not a songwriter, so I don't know. But anybody I've that's talked about this says how important that is. So I mean, I got to take their word for it. And everyone from Geezer to Bob, Zach, everybody has said Ozzy's got a real talent for putting a melody over a song. So I mean, he did have a very important role in constructing these songs. So this was a group effort, man. And again, Lee writes. Lee only wrote No Bone Movies, and they actually wanted to have You Looking at Me, Looking at You on Blizzard. And I do think that's a better song than No Bone Movies. They wanted Lee to have a writing credit. Lee writes a lot more on this album. But this album is it's so phenomenal. And again, it was a happy accident because Sharon, being the greedy troll that she is, wanted to have another album in the works so she could just keep the money-making touring machine going on and on nonstop. And thank God she did, because we never would have gotten another Blizzard of Oz band album. But that's we lost it then, and then we lost Randy. I do firmly believe that had Randy survived, he was going to do Bark at the Moon, and I'm not gonna make this a whole rehash of the Randy thing. But we've talked about that. I've talked about it in other videos. I'm sure I'll talk about it again. But I do believe that the third album, as Bob came back, he would have, because Randy needed a co-writing partner. Ozzy does not write songs. Rudy does not write songs. Tommy Aldridge, as far as I know, does not write songs. So I think we would have had, now Tommy Aldridge, I believe, would have stayed, but I think they would have had the writing team of Randy and Bob Daisley back for the third album. But this one is just, I mean, it's so hard to follow up an album like Blizzard of Oz. And they still had that momentum. They toured England. It was smaller gigs. Very successful. The kids loved them. The band dynamic was phenomenal. They went right back into the studio, wrote this album, wrote just enough songs, and recorded this album, and that magic was still there. Sadly, they had no idea that Sharon was waiting in the wings to destroy everything. That troll and her money were ready to destroy the absolute, and I don't care, I'll argue this until the world comes to an end. Take the Beatles and flush them down the toilet. Take the Rolling Stones and flush them down the toilet. This was the best band ever. Yes, even over Black Sabbath, which I know is kind of sacrilege. But this band was the best, in my opinion, and I think I'm right. That's the end of the story. This was the best band that has ever been in existence. They created the two best albums of all time. End of story. I mean, for me, very, very close follow up would be Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, but no, these two albums are absolutely perfect. Diary, again, it means a lot to me because I got it. It was a birthday gift from my buddy who got me into heavy metal. I mean, I remember putting it on the turntable. I was in my parents' basement. And just from the opening drums of Over the Mountain, just being absolutely blown away. This album is perfect. And it took me, and I've said this before, it took me a while to like Blizzard. There were songs I liked, but as a whole, it took me a while to like Blizzard. This album, one listen, and I was hooked. And the album, now I will say this is by far Ozzy's best album cover. I gotta do that. I gotta do that ranking the Ozzy album covers. This is the absolute coolest album cover. Not of all time. It's pretty darn close. I think the best album cover of all time is Iron Maiden Killers. This is in the top, probably. I'm trying to think, what would be. Sabbath has cool album covers, but there's never been one that's been like, whoa, this may be the second best in my opinion. I hate saying in my opinion, because you know what, I'm right. It's my channel. You can roast me in the comments if you want, all you want. Tell me go eat a hamburger. I haven't heard that. I don't know if I'm disappointed or not. I got that a lot in the old channel. Go eat a hamburger. It was always a hamburger. I had a burrito earlier. I'm going to have pizza, frozen pizza, later. But it was always a hamburger. Go eat a hamburger, fat boy. I'm 51 years old. Fat, bald, diabetic. None of it's going to bother me. Anyway, I don't even know where the hell I was going with this. Oh, album cover. Yeah, this may be the second best album cover in my opinion of all time, but nothing beats Killers. Killers is the perfect album cover of all time. Diary of a Madman, just it's the song Diary of a Madman, the centerpiece. This is God. You know, Tonight is my favorite song off the album, but that, and this is going to sound weird, doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best Blizzard of Oz band / Ozzy solo song. I don't think so. And that would almost fall between either You Can't Kill Rock and Roll or Diary of a Madman. And I want to, I think I'd give the edge to You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. I know that sounds weird. And the reason I say Tonight is my favorite song off the album is it's the one I listen to the most. If I'm going to put a song from Diary on, it's going to be Tonight. You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, though, man. That is such the mellow to the power of the chorus. And again, Randy, the band, Ozzy sounds so good on these albums, too. I think my favorite Ozzy song of all time, Blizzard of Oz band / Ozzy song of all time is You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. Yeah. Absolutely. If you don't have this album, there's something wrong with you. Especially if you're watching this video. God, I hate doing this reverse thing. Go out and get it. Go out and get it right now if you don't have this album. Don't stream it. Buy it. Listen to it on physical media. All right, guys. Yeah, 44th anniversary, right? Because 25 minus 1, I think it's 44th anniversary. Here's the weird thing, too. So, I didn't even remember through, because this is my wedding anniversary, so I guess I got to pay more attention to that than Blizzard or Diary of a Madman. Diary always takes precedence. But it's like when you look into it, it's general release October of 81. The release date is November 7th of 81. He starts to tour on November 5th of 81. So I was looking like, is it the US? Maybe it was released earlier in the UK and you can't really kind of a definitive answer. Now I was 6 or 7. I think 6. When this came out, 6, 7, something like that. I think it was 8. Was it 5? I was between 5 and 8 when this album came out. I hate math. I can't stand math. So we're between 5 and 8. And so obviously I wouldn't have known when this album came out. So if you do remember buying this album, let me know in the comments. Was it November? Is this the actual date now? Ozzy on Facebook, the Ozzy official Ozzy Osbourne page, puts this as the anniversary date. Wikipedia says October. Does not give a general date, an exact date. It just says October. So I don't know. Were they releasing it in Kansas and then I don't know, a few weeks later, let's release it in Oklahoma? I don't know what the hell was going on. But I guess this is the official date. But yeah, happy anniversary to Diary of Madman. Second best album ever constructed, ever written, ever recorded. All right, Ozzy, rest in peace. Bob is still with us. Randy, rest in peace. Lee, rest in peace. Listen to Diary of Madman, man. It's a great album. Great album. Again, 5 all around. There's just no... Every song is perfect. All right. I mean, can I rank these? Oh, God. Should I rank these? Should I rank the songs in order? I mean, I could do that. God. No, I don't know. I don't even think I could. I honestly... I can't even start to. I truly, it's not an act. It's not a, just really can't. All right. Thanks guys. Watch, subscribe, all that some fun stuff at some point. And before I drop dead, Madison will have the Instagram and the X going. See ya.